Hello, my friend. Welcome to Daily English Podcast. This is Walter, and I want to pause before we begin and truly recognize the gift of your attention. Out of all the things you could be doing right now, you've chosen to be here, listening, learning, and giving yourself this time. That is something special. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt that learning English is just too big, too heavy, too far away? Maybe you feel like you need long hours every day, huge vocabulary lists, or perfect grammar to make progress. And because of that, you sometimes feel stuck, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for more energy, waiting for the moment when you're finally ready. But what if the truth is different? What if you don't need to do huge things to change your English? What if one small step each day is enough? Today, I want to talk with you about the 1% rule. The 1% rule is a simple idea, but it has great power. It says that if you improve by just a tiny amount each day, only 1%, then over time the results will grow and multiply. Think about it. If you learn just 2 new words each day, in 1 year you'll have more than 700 new words. If you write just 1 short sentence in a journal every night, in a few months you'll have pages and pages of writing. If you listen to 1 minute of English audio each morning, in a year that's over 6 hours of practice. These are not heavy, difficult tasks. They are light, simple, and easy. And because they are easy, you can do them every day. The 1% rule is not about doing everything at once. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up, even in a small way, and letting time do the rest. Today, I want to guide you through this idea and help you see how small steps, taken with consistency, can completely transform your English. I'll share examples for listening, speaking, writing, and vocabulary. But more importantly, I'll help you shift your mindset so you can stop waiting for perfection and start growing today. Because progress is not about doing more. It is about doing something, one small thing, again and again. So let's begin. When most people start learning something new, they feel a burst of energy. Maybe you felt this too. You download resources, you make a plan, you promise yourself to study 2 hours every day. For a few days it feels exciting, but then life happens. Work becomes busy, you feel tired, and soon the plan falls apart. This is what happens when we depend on intensity. Intensity means trying to do a lot in a short time. It feels strong, but it usually does not last. Consistency, however, is different. Consistency means doing a small action again and again over a long time. At first, the action feels almost too small. You may think it's not enough, but here is the secret. Small actions, repeated daily, create deep roots. They become habits. And habits are what carry you forward, even when life is busy or motivation is low. Imagine water falling on a stone. One drop is nothing, but if the drops continue day after day, they slowly change the shape of the stone. The same is true for your English. 1 sentence today, 1 sentence tomorrow, 1 sentence the next day. Over time, this simple act rewires your brain. It teaches your mouth to form English words more naturally. It makes English feel less like study and more like a part of who you are. Many learners believe they need long hours of study, but ask yourself, is it better to study 3 hours once a week or 10 minutes every day? The truth is, your brain learns better with short, repeated contact. Consistency creates memory. Intensity creates pressure. Which one do you want to carry with you? When you choose consistency, you choose freedom. You give yourself permission to be human. You allow small steps to be enough. And you begin to see that English is not something you do only in special moments. It becomes part of your daily rhythm, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. This is why the 1% rule matters so much. Because it's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it often. And in the end, that is what brings real change. Let's talk about listening. Many learners think they need to understand every word of long podcasts, movies, or news shows. And when they cannot, they feel frustrated. But listening can also follow the 1% rule. What if you listen to just 1 minute of English every day? 1 minute is not heavy. It's short enough that you can do it anywhere, while brushing your teeth, while waiting for the bus, while making a cup of tea. And if you listen to that same 1 minute again tomorrow and again the next day, something amazing happens. The words begin to feel familiar. Your ear starts to catch sounds you didn't hear before. You notice small details, the way the voice rises and falls, the way two words connect. This is how your brain learns, through small, repeated contact. Imagine you choose a 1-minute story or dialogue. At first it feels fast, but after a few days, you can almost predict what comes next. After a week, you might shadow along, repeating the voice. After a month, you know that clip inside out. And without even noticing, you've trained your listening, your pronunciation, and your confidence. 1 minute may not sound like much, but think about the year. 1 minute a day is more than 6 hours of focused listening. And 6 hours in your ear is powerful. More important than the time is the habit. When you tell yourself, I only need to listen for 1 minute, the action feels easy. And when something is easy, you don't resist it. You just do it. This is how consistency is born. You stop waiting for the perfect study time. You stop feeling guilty for not doing enough. You start living with English, even in the smallest ways. And slowly, English becomes a natural part of your world. Listening does not need to be hard. It does not need to be long. It only needs to be regular. 1 minute a day, again and again, is enough to change the way you hear English. Speaking is often the part that feels most scary. Maybe you understand words, maybe you read well, but when it's time to speak, you freeze. The words feel heavy, your tongue feels slow, and you're afraid of mistakes. But here is where the 1% rule can change everything. Instead of trying to speak for long periods or have full conversations right away, what if you practiced speaking just 1 sentence a day? 1 sentence is light. It's not too much. You can say it to yourself in the mirror. You can whisper it before bed. You can record it on your phone. 1 sentence does not require courage, but 1 sentence repeated every day starts to build fluency. Your mouth gets used to forming English sounds. Your brain learns to connect thought to speech more quickly. And after a few weeks, 1 sentence may grow into 2, then 3. The habit expands, but without pressure. You might choose simple sentences. I'm learning English today. The weather is warm. I feel a little tired, but I'm proud I'm speaking. These sentences are not fancy, but they are alive. They connect your real life with English. And when English connects with your life, it feels more natural. Think about identity. Every time you say 1 sentence, you are not just practicing. You are telling yourself, I am someone who speaks English. This shift is powerful. You no longer see yourself as a learner waiting for the right moment. You see yourself as a speaker who shows up every day. And that small daily act slowly changes how you feel about English. The fear becomes smaller, the habit becomes stronger, and your voice becomes freer. So let speaking be simple. Don't wait for long conversations. Start with 1 sentence a day. That is enough. Writing is another place where learners often feel blocked. Maybe you open a notebook and think, I should write a page. And suddenly it feels too much. But writing can also be small. Try keeping a 1-sentence journal. Each night before bed, write 1 line in English. It can be about your day, your feelings, or something you noticed. Today I cooked dinner. I felt happy when I saw the sunset. I learned a new word. That's it. Just one sentence. Some nights it will be very simple. Some nights you may write 2 or 3, but the habit is what matters. Over weeks, you will see the pages fill. Each page is proof that you are someone who writes in English, and that proof builds confidence. You no longer tell yourself, I can't write. Instead, you see clear evidence. I write in English every day. A one-line journal also helps your memory. When you use new words in your sentence, they stay in your mind longer. When you write about your real life, you connect English with your personal world. And when you go back to read your old lines, you notice your progress. The sentences may start short, but later they grow. One line may turn into a paragraph, not because you forced it, but because it feels natural. The 1% rule reminds us that progress is not about big tasks, it is about small habits. One line each day is enough. Over time, those lines tell the story of your growth, and that story changes the way you see yourself. Vocabulary is often a place where learners push too hard. You might try to memorize long lists, only to forget them later. But what if you focused on just 2 new words each day? 2 words are light. You can carry them in your pocket, on a note, or in your phone. During the day, you see them again and again. You try to use them in your one-sentence journal or in your daily spoken sentence. Because you meet them many times, they begin to live in your memory, and in a year, 2 words a day becomes more than 700 words. 700 is not small. That's the size of a whole new world. The key is not to rush. If 2 words feel too easy, that's perfect. Easy means you'll keep doing it, and if you keep doing it, the habit will grow. Many people want to learn 10 or 20 words at once, but the brain forgets quickly when it is overloaded. 2 words, repeated and used, are far stronger than 20 words forgotten. The 1% rule teaches us to value depth over speed. You don't need a mountain of vocabulary, you need words you can use. And when you add 2 each day, you build that mountain slowly, 1 stone at a time. Over months, the stones rise. One day you look back and realize how high you've climbed. So don't chase big numbers. Choose 2 words, use them, repeat them, and trust the process. So far, we've talked about listening, speaking, writing, and vocabulary. But underneath all of these habits, there is something even more important: your identity. The 1% rule is not just about practice. It's about who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with English, then every small mistake feels heavy. You wait for the day when you'll finally be good enough. But if you see yourself as someone who uses English every day, even in small ways, everything changes. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer chase perfection. You act like a speaker, a writer, a listener, a learner, and step by step, you become one. Each 1-minute listening, each 1-sentence speaking, each 1-line journal, each 2 words learned, they are not just exercises. They are evidence. They prove to your mind that you are living with English. And when your mind believes that, your actions follow. You don't need to force motivation. You don't need to push yourself with guilt. The habit carries you because the habit matches your identity. This is why small steps matter. They are not just practice, they are signals. Every time you take one small action, you are saying, I am someone who grows in English, and that truth becomes stronger with every day. So don't think only about results. Think about identity. See yourself not as someone waiting to be fluent, but as someone who is already walking the path. You are already the kind of person who uses English daily. And that identity is the most powerful fuel you can have. As we come to the end of this talk, I want to leave you with one final thought. Progress is always more powerful than perfection. Perfection says, do everything right or do nothing at all. Perfection waits for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling, and because of that, perfection often does nothing. Progress is different. Progress says, do one small thing today. Progress doesn't ask for perfect grammar or long hours or perfect motivation. Progress asks only for presence, for showing up, even in a small way. And when you show up today, then tomorrow, then the next day, progress grows. It grows quietly, like a seed in the soil. At first you see nothing, but under the surface, roots are forming, and one day, green shoots appear. Your English will grow the same way. It may not look big at first, but small daily acts will add up slowly and surely. And when you look back after months or years, you will see how far you've come. The 1% rule is not just a method, it is a mindset. It says that small is enough. It says that little steps are strong. It says that the journey belongs to those who walk every day, not those who only run sometimes. So, my friend, I invite you to let go of pressure, let go of perfection, and choose progress. 1 minute of listening, 1 sentence of speaking, 1 line of writing, 2 words of vocabulary, that's all. And that is enough. Because growth is not about someday, growth is about today. And today, you've already taken a step.